Thick green leaves covered the sky above, making the jungle dark even during the day. The air was hot and full of strange smells. Zalira moved carefully between the trees, her long tail twitching behind her. Her sharp eyes searched the ground for signs. She was a scout from the Valeri tribe, trained to move fast and quiet. But today, something didn't feel right. She paused beside a wide tree with red bark. Her pointed ears twitched. The birds had stopped singing. The buzzing insects were gone. Everything was too quiet. Then crack. A thick vine shot from the trees, wrapping tightly around her ankle. Before she could scream, another coil wrapped around her waist, lifting her off the ground. It wasn't a vine. It was a bone coil, one of the deadliest snakes on the planet. Zalira gasped and kicked, but the creature only squeezed tighter. Her ribs started to ache. She tried to reach her dagger, but her arms were pinned. Her claws scratched at the smooth, cold scales, but nothing worked. The bone coil hissed, its glowing eyes staring into hers. She felt her vision go dark. Her lungs burned. She was going to die. Then boom. A loud sound shook the air. A second later, something slammed into the snake. The pressure round her chest loosened. The bone coil screamed and thrashed. Zalira dropped to the ground, coughing hard. She rolled over, trying to breathe. When she looked up, she saw something strange. A man stood there, tall and strong, holding a smoking weapon. His armor was black with red stripes, and his face was dirty, rough, and full of anger. But his eyes were calm. He stepped forward, kneeling beside her. "You're all right," he said in a low voice. "You're safe now." Zalira blinked, confused. She had never seen a human this close before. Her tribe told stories about them monsters, killers, ghosts from space. But this one had saved her. "Why?" she whispered. The man gave a small smile. Didn't feel like letting a girl get eaten today. He reached into a pouch and pulled out a small tool. It beeped softly as he scanned her body. Zalira flinched when he touched her, but he was gentle. His hands were rough, but warm. He wrapped a band around her wrist, pressed a button, and a soft light began to heal her bruises. "You speak Galactic?" she asked. "Enough to get by." He replied, "Name's Cole. You, Zalira." "Well, Zalira," he said, standing up and offering her his hand. "Can you walk?" She nodded slowly and took his hand. His grip was strong but careful. He pulled her to her feet. Her legs were shaking. She leaned on him without meaning to. "You're not like the stories," she said softly. Cole laughed. "What stories?" "The ones that say humans are beasts." He smirked. "We are, just not all the time." They walked through the jungle, moving toward a small rocky clearing. Cole pressed a button on his wrist and a camouflaged shelter unfolded from the ground like magic. Zalira's eyes widened in wonder. The shelter opened, showing a small bed, water system, and light. "Make yourself at home," he said, sitting down and starting a small fire. "You need rest." Zalira sat across from him, silent. Her body still hurt, but her mind raced. This human, this Cole, had saved her life without knowing who she was. He had risked himself to fight a beast that no one else would face. Why? As night fell, the jungle sounds returned: chirps, clicks, distant roars. Inside the shelter, the light glowed softly, casting shadows on the walls. Zalira watched him from across the fire. His arms were strong, his jaw sharp, and his eyes always watching, like a soldier who had seen too much. She didn't understand why her heart beat faster now. She didn't understand why her eyes kept following him. Maybe it was shock. Maybe it was something else. Cole looked up and met her gaze. "You're staring." Zalira looked away quickly. "Sorry, it's all right," he said, smiling. "You've been through a lot." She nodded. But in her heart, she knew it wasn't just the bone coil. Something else had wrapped around her today, something new, something dangerous. And it wasn't letting go. Zalira's dreams were wild. She saw the human's eyes glowing like fire in the dark. She felt his hands on her skin again, not rough like a soldier, but steady, warm, and slow. She dreamed of the moment when he had lifted her from the dirt, carrying her like she was precious. And in that dream, the jungle was silent, not because of danger, but because it was listening. When she woke up, The shelter was quiet. The fire had died down to soft red embers. Her body was still sore, but the pain was fading. The healing band on her wrist blinked softly. Outside, she heard the sound of metal clicking and tools moving. She stepped out and found him crouched near a log, fixing a long piece of tech. Cole wasn't wearing his armor anymore, only a sleeveless shirt and utility pants. His arms were covered in scars, some thin, some deep. His muscles moved with every motion, each line firm like stone. The rising sun lit his skin in gold. Zalira didn't mean to stare, but she didn't stop either. She had seen many of her own, kind warriors, hunters, even leaders, but none of them ever made her feel the way she felt now, like something inside her had been waiting, silent, then suddenly awake. "You're up," Cole said without looking, his voice low but clear. "Slept okay?" She nodded. "I had strange dreams." He glanced back. "The jungle does that. Messes with your head." "It wasn't the jungle," she said, stepping closer. "It was you." That made him pause. His hands stopped moving. He turned to face her fully. She didn't look away. "I don't know what's happening to me, but my body feels strange, like something changed." Cole's eyes studied her, calm and sharp. "You were nearly crushed, your systems still recovering. Hormones, maybe." She shook her head. "No, it's more than that." Silence sat between them. A breeze passed, and her silver hair shifted across her cheek. Cole finally stood, wiping his hands. "You're not the first alien I've met, but you're the first one who's looked at me like that." "Like what?" He stepped closer, eyes narrowing just a little. "Like you're trying to figure out if I'm the threat or the reason you're still breathing." Zalira's throat tightened. His voice was calm, but there was something heavy under the words. "Something real. I'm not scared of you," she said. "Good, because I don't bite." She blinked at that. He smirked. Her tail flicked nervously. "Come here," he said, turning toward a device resting on the ground. "This'll teach you more than old tribe stories ever did." She stepped beside him, and he showed her a small holo map glowing with blue light. "This is where we are. And that," he pointed to a flashing red zone, "is where the snakes breed." "You were way too close yesterday." "I was hunting food," she said. "Didn't expect to become it." Cole chuckled softly. "Welcome to my life. Always someone trying to eat you." She looked at him. "How long have you been alone?" "Out here." He shrugged. "Long enough to forget what warm company feels like." Her chest ached a little hearing that. She didn't know why. Later that day, as they worked together to collect herbs and skin wildlife, Zalira kept glancing at him every time his fingers brushed hers while handing a tool. Her skin tingled every time he leaned close to explain something. Her heart jumped. At one point, she almost walked into a branch while staring. Cole laughed out loud. "You're gonna get eaten again if you keep looking at me like I'm dessert." She hissed. "I wasn't looking. You were." She crossed her arms, cheeks darkening with color. "You're strange, and you're terrible at lying." By nightfall, the tension between them wasn't just in the air, it was under their skin. Zalira felt it every time she looked at his hands. She felt it when his voice dropped to a whisper to warn her of a snake nearby. She felt it when they sat side by side again, under the same small roof. She had questions, dangerous ones. "Cole," she asked quietly, "have you ever been with someone not from your world?" He didn't speak for a moment. Then, without looking at her, he said, "Once, a long time ago." "What happened?" "She didn't survive." Zalira said nothing. She watched his face, how it changed with memory. She realized then he had been hurt deeply, and now he carried that pain everywhere, hidden beneath a soldier's silence. She wanted to reach out, to touch his hand, but she did in single quotes not yet. Instead, she whispered, "I don't think my body is broken." He finally turned to look at her. "No." She shook her head. "I think it's reacting." "To what?" "To you." The firelight flickered between them. Cole's gaze didn't move. His body stayed still, but his fingers curled just slightly, as if stopping himself from reaching for her. She stood up. "Good night, Cole." He nodded slowly. "Good night, Zalira." But long after she returned to her bed, she lay awake. Her hand was pressed over her chest, feeling the heartbeat that had changed. Her mind repeated the same question again and again. What was she turning into, and what did this human have to do with it? The next day, the jungle didn't wake up gently. The sky was still dark when the earth began to shake. Leaves trembled. Trees groaned. Zalira shot up from her bed, heart pounding. She grabbed her blade and rushed outside. Cole was already up, weapon in hand, eyes scanning the thick wall of trees. "Another one's coming," he said. Zalira's breath caught. "Another bone coil?" He nodded. "And it's bigger than the last." A loud crack echoed through the jungle. Birds screamed and fled into the air. Something massive moved behind the trees, brushing aside whole trunks like they were sticks. Zalira felt her skin go cold. "We have to run," she said. Cole didn't move. Too late. From the shadows, the snake burst out twice the size of the one from before. Its body was long and thick, covered in dark scales with red lines glowing along its sides. Its yellow eyes locked straight onto Cole. It didn't hesitate. It lunged. Cole fired. The plasma bolt slammed into its face, but the snake barely flinched. Its head whipped sideways, knocking him to the ground. Zalira screamed and rushed forward. "Cole!" He groaned, trying to lift his gun again. But the snake was faster. It coiled around him, wrapping his arms, crushing his chest. Cole gasped, his face twisting in pain. Zalira didn't think she moved. She ran toward the beast, leapt onto its body, and started stabbing with everything she had. Her blade cut deep into its flesh. The snake hissed in pain and tossed her off. She hit the ground hard, but rolled to her feet. Her hands were bleeding. Her knees shook, but she stood tall. The snake turned its eyes toward her. Cole was trapped in its coils, unable to move. His lips parted, trying to say something, but no words came out. Zalira didn't run. Instead, she roared. Her body moved before her mind could stop it. She jumped on the creature again. Crawling up its thick body, it thrashed and twisted, trying to throw her off. She grabbed a loose coil and squeezed with every muscle in her arms. Her legs wrapped tight. Her claws dug in deep. She bit down hard into its scaled flesh. The bone coil shrieked. Its body jerked, its tail smashing trees behind them. But it couldn't break her grip. Not this time. She was no longer prey. She was the storm. With a final cry, Zalira slammed her blade down into the beast's eye. The light in the snake's body flickered, then went out. It collapsed, unmoving. Zalira rolled off its corpse, gasping for air. She stumbled toward Cole, pulling his arm free from the loosened coils. He coughed and looked up at her, stunned. "You're heavier than you look," he said, half smiling. She hit his shoulder, laughing through her tears. "You idiot. You almost died." He sat up slowly, rubbing his ribs. "Not with you around." For a moment, they just stared at each other. His hand was still in hers. Her heart raced. Her skin was glowing faintly now, a soft violet hue across her cheeks and neck. Cole noticed. "You're changing again. I feel different," she whispered. "Stronger." She nodded. Double quotes wilder. Her eyes didn't blink. "Hungry?" He raised an eyebrow. "For food or?" She didn't let him finish. She stood up quickly and walked away, but her tail flicked behind her like a teasing signal. They made camp again after dragging the snake's body away. Zalira sat beside the fire, silent, watching the flames. Her body buzzed with power, and her thoughts wouldn't stop. Every time she looked at Cole, she remembered the heat of his skin, the pressure of the fight, the sound of his voice calling her name. He sat beside her, arms crossed, deep in thought. "You've changed since the first day I met you," he said. "So have you." He turned to her. "I'm just a soldier." "No," she said. "You're more." Cole didn't answer. She leaned toward him. "When I squeezed that monster, I wasn't thinking of survival. I was thinking of you." He met her eyes. "Why?" "Because I don't want to lose you." The fire cracked. A single spark rose into the night sky. He reached for her hand. "I'm not easy to keep," he warned. "I'm not easy to scare," she replied. Then, without thinking, she leaned in and brushed her lips gently against his cheek. It wasn't a kiss, not fully, but it burned hotter than fire. She stood again and walked back to her tent without another word. Cole sat still for a long time, staring at the flames. He touched the place where her lips had met his skin. The jungle was quiet now, But inside their camp, the storm was only beginning. Rain began falling late in the night. It started as a soft whisper on the leaves, then grew louder as heavy drops hit the shelter roof. Cole stayed awake, sitting near the fire, watching it flicker while water tapped around him. His body ached from the snake's crushing grip, but something deeper was keeping him restless. He kept replaying that moment, Zelira's lips brushing his cheek, her eyes fierce, wild, and full of something he hadn't seen in a long time. She had saved him. No hesitation, no fear. She had fought like a warrior, but looked at him like something more than a comrade. Inside her small tent, Zelira lay on her side, eyes wide open. Her body still pulsed with the strange power that had awoken inside her. She felt strong, sharper, more alive than ever before. But it wasn't just the fight, it was him. Her body was reacting again, heat under her skin, her heart racing faster whenever she remembered his voice, his hands, his pain. She pushed herself up and stepped out into the rain. Her bare feet pressed into the wet ground as she walked toward the fire. Cole looked up, surprised. "You should be resting," he said. "I can't sleep." They sat in silence for a few moments, both watching the flames dance. The rain cooled the air around them, but the heat between them was thick. "You're glowing again," Cole said. Zelira looked down. Her skin had a soft violet shimmer under the firelight, her veins pulsing faintly beneath. "I don't understand what's happening to me," she said. "It's a reaction," he replied. "Some alien species form bonds in battle. Maybe adrenaline, maybe hormones, maybe something spiritual. But it's not only in my body, it's in my thoughts." Cole nodded slowly. "Same here." Zelira turned to him. "You feel it too?" He gave her a long look. "When you fought that snake for me, I didn't see a scout or a stranger. I saw something I don't even have a word for." Her breath caught in her chest. He reached out slowly and took her hand. She didn't pull away. "You scare me, Zelira," he said. "Why?" "Because I didn't think I could feel this way again." The rain kept falling around them, but inside the moment, time slowed. Her hand tightened in his. "I don't know what this feeling is," she whispered, "but I don't want it to stop." Their faces moved closer, drawn by something stronger. Then fear, stronger than war. But just before their lips touched, a loud blast echoed through the jungle. They both jumped to their feet. Cole grabbed his weapon. Zelira's glow dimmed as her instincts kicked in. From beyond the trees, red lights flashed. A sharp mechanical hum filled the air. "What is that?" she asked. Cole's jaw tightened. "That's not nature. That's a drone." A small metallic shape hovered out of the darkness, scanning their camp. It had a Galactic Empire mark on its side. Cole aimed and fired before it could escape. The blast tore through the drone, sending sparks into the air. "We have to move," he said. Zelira grabbed her gear. "Your people, not mine," he said coldly. "Mercenaries, scavengers. They pick up heat signals and hunt survivors. They'll come for us. They're already tracking us." They packed fast and ran into the forest. Rain pouring down harder now. Branches slapped their faces, roots tugged at their feet, but they didn't stop. Zelira stayed close to Cole, his hand gripping hers tightly. They reached an old rock cave hidden behind thick vines. Cole scanned the area and set a low frequency barrier to hide their presence. Inside the cave, it was dark and damp. Water dripped from the ceiling. Their clothes were soaked, clinging to their bodies. Zelira shivered once, then sat beside him. "I hate running," she said. "I hate being hunted," he replied. She looked at him, her glowing eyes narrowing. "You said you were alone, but you didn't say why." Cole leaned back against the wall. "Because I was betrayed, left behind. My own team wanted the bounty more than my life." Zelira felt her jaw tighten. "You didn't deserve that. I stopped expecting fairness a long time ago." She reached out and touched his shoulder. "Then expect me instead." He looked into her eyes, rain still dripping from his hair. "You're not like the others. Neither are you." The space between them vanished. This time, there was no pause, no interruption. Their lips met in the dim cave, soft but full of fire. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate, real, the kind of kiss that needed no words, only breath. Her hands pressed against his chest, feeling his heartbeat. His fingers ran through her damp hair, pulling her closer. Their skin burned where it touched. The cave was cold, but they didn't feel it. When they pulled apart, they both breathed hard. "You're in danger because of me," he said. "I choose this danger," she whispered. Cole stared at her, speechless. And in the dark cave, as rain poured outside, and danger waited in the shadows, two hearts, once broken and afraid, now beat together like a war drum. When morning came, the cave was filled with soft light. The rain had stopped, but the ground outside was muddy and full of fresh footprints, some human, some not. Cole knelt near the entrance, carefully studying the marks while Zalira watched. From behind, "They were here," he said. "For marks, heavy boots. They passed near but didn't find us." "Why not?" He pointed to a scorched patch on the vine wall. "They were close, but my shield fried their scanner. We got lucky." Zalira stepped outside, stretching. Her joints popped quietly. Her body still felt hot from the night before, but now there was something sharper in her chest, a strange mix of fear and hunger. "We can't stay in one place anymore," she said. "No," Cole replied. "We keep moving." They traveled north through the jungle, past broken ruins swallowed by vines and moss. Every now and then, Zalira would hear Cole mutter something to himself. Calculations, direction, plans. He was focused, alert, but she could feel his eyes flick toward her when he thought she wasn't looking. At midday, they paused to rest near a small spring. Cole drank first, then handed her the canister. She took it, but didn't drink. She stared at him instead. "What's wrong?" he asked. "You still think this is just battle heat?" He didn't answer. Zalira moved closer. "Because it's not. I've felt that before. This is different. It's deeper." Cole's eyes locked with hers. "I'm trying to think clearly. There's danger out here. There's danger in here too," she said, placing a hand over her chest. "But I don't want to run from it." He stared at her hand, then placed his own over hers. His fingers were larger, warmer, steady. "You're changing fast. You're the cause." A branch cracked in the distance. Both of them turned instantly. Cole dropped low with his rifle. Zalira crouched beside him, scanning the trees. A shimmer passed between the leaves. Then another. "Cloaked scouts," Cole whispered. "Empire tech." "How many?" "Too many." They ran. Blaster fire rained behind them, slicing through trees and burning holes in the ground. Cole rolled, grabbed Zalira's hand, and pulled her behind a ridge. They crawled through a stream, then slid down a wet slope into a hollow pit. "We can't outrun them forever," she said, breathing hard. "We won't," he replied. "We hit back." She looked at him, surprised. "You want to fight them?" "All. I'm tired of hiding." He pulled out a small device and tossed it into the mud. It blinked twice, then lit up a blue dome. "Emp trap. Give it 5 minutes." "What do we do in 5 minutes?" He smiled. "We make noise." Cole jumped up, fired 3 shots into the air, then shouted, "Come get me, you cowards." Zalira laughed, heart racing. She joined him, yelling in her own tongue. The scouts moved fast, shadows blinking in and out. But as they crossed the blue line, the trap snapped. A burst of light and sound cracked through the jungle. The scouts screamed and dropped, their cloaks failing. For armored bodies hit the ground, twitching. Cole ran to them, grabbed their weapons, and smashed their comms. "Still think I'm just a soldier?" he asked, tossing a spare blaster to Zalira. "You're a madman," she said, smiling. "But I like it." That night, they hid inside the ruins of an old outpost. The broken walls kept the wind out, and the old floor was dry. Cole built a fire while Zalira cleaned her blade. "You saved me again," she said. "Now we're even." She stood, slowly walking to him. "No, we're not." He looked up. Zalira knelt in front of him. Her eyes glowed brighter now, like fire trapped behind glass. Her breath was steady, her voice low. "I don't want to run anymore. I want to feel what this is, completely." Cole's throat tightened. "Zalira," she touched his face. "Don't say no, not this time." His hand rose to her cheek, fingers brushing her soft skin. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure." She leaned in. This time, their lips met without fear. It wasn't rushed. It was deep, slow, and full of heat. Her arms wrapped around his neck, His hands pulled her closer. There was no armor, no jungle, no war between them, only breath, skin, and the strange pull that had grown stronger every day. When they broke apart, she whispered, "If we survive this, you'll come back with me? To your world, to my heart." Cole smiled. "You already have mine." The firelight flickered, casting shadows that danced across the ruined stone. Outside, the jungle was quiet for now. Inside, two warriors who were once strangers now held each other, not as saviors, not as soldiers, but as something more. Something wild. Something real. The morning light came with the sound of engines. Low, deep vibrations rolled through the jungle like thunder. Zalira opened her eyes at once. Cole was already standing, his rifle in hand, his expression hard. "Dropship," he said. "They're sending more." Zalira moved fast, pulling on her gear. "How do they know where we are?" "They don't. They're sweeping the whole area. But if they catch our heat trail, we're done." They packed their things in silence, but the tension was thick. Every second felt like it mattered. Cole handed her an extra energy cell. Their fingers touched. No words were needed. They moved fast through the wet jungle, sticking close to the shadows. Zalira's senses were sharper than ever. She could smell metal from the wind, feel the vibration in her bones, even hear the unnatural rhythm of boots crushing leaves far away. "What's the plan?" she asked. "There's a cliff ahead," he said. "If we reach the top, I can call for a long-range burst signal. There's an old human satellite hidden up there. If it still works, I can bring down a real ship. Extraction." He nodded. "If we're lucky." They reached the cliff by midday. It was steep, rocky, and half covered in vines. Cole began climbing first. Zalira followed, her hands gripping tightly. Her body still ached from the fight, but she pushed through it. Halfway up, a shout echoed behind them. Blaster fire exploded against the rock. "They found us." Cole turned, fired 2 quick shots, and kept climbing. Zalira moved faster, ignoring the sharp sting in her legs. When they reached the top, Cole dropped to his knees and pulled open a rusted panel hidden under the dirt. He connected wires, adjusted knobs, and slammed his fist onto the transmitter. It sparked, then dashed static. He growled, "Come on, work, damn you." Zalira knelt beside him, panting. "Try again." He hit it once more. A light blinked green. A short burst of coded signal fired into the sky. "Got it," he breathed. "Now we wait." They took cover behind a broken stone, watching the tree line below. Dozens of enemy soldiers spread through the forest like ants. They were slow, methodical, scanning everything. Drones hovered above them, searching for heat, sound, and motion. Zalira gripped her blaster. "Too many. We don't fight all of them," he said. "Just enough to buy time." She looked at him. "If we fall, I want you to know last night wasn't just passion." He met her eyes. "I know." It was real. The first enemy appeared at the base of the cliff, then another. Cole handed Zalira a signal grenade. "When I say run, you throw it down. It'll blind their sensors. Then we jump." He nodded toward the other side of the cliff, a sharp drop into a river far below. "Water's deep enough. You're insane." "I know." The enemy started climbing. Cole fired 1 shot. The first soldier dropped. Zalira fired next, clean and fast. More soldiers moved into position, returning fire. "Now," Cole shouted. Zalira threw the grenade. It burst midair, sending out a sharp pulse. The drones froze, then dropped. The soldiers shouted, blinded. Smoke rose around the cliff. "Go!" They jumped. The fall was fast, wind rushing past their faces. The river caught them hard, cold, loud. Zalira gasped as they hit the water, her body spinning. She fought to the surface. Cole surfaced nearby, coughing but smiling. "You're still alive?" she shouted. "Barely." They swam to the far bank and climbed out. Behind them, the cliff exploded with sound. The enemy was angry now. They had lost the signal, but they wouldn't give up. Cole checked the sky. 10 more minutes. "We have to hold out until then." They moved toward a clearing where the trees thinned. Cole set up a perimeter motion traps, pulse mines, and cover points. Zalira took the high ground, eyes sharp. Minutes passed. Then dash shadows. The enemy moved in fast. No more slow scans. They were hunting. Zalira fired first, striking two. Cole took down a third. The jungle became chaos again. Blasts, smoke, shouting. A mine exploded. Screams followed. But they kept coming. Zalira leapt from the rock and landed beside Cole. Her blade slashed through one enemy. Cole shot another in the back, but they were being pushed back. I see the ship, Zalira cried. A long, dark shadow cut through the clouds. A sleek human dropship broke through the sky, moving fast. Cole fired a flare. Hold the line. He shouted. The ship dove lower, its side door sliding open. Heavy cannons activated and fired at the ground troops, scattering them. The enemy started retreating. A rope dropped. Cole grabbed Zalira's hand. Together, they held each other as they rose into the sky, the jungle falling away below. Inside the ship, they collapsed on the floor, covered in sweat, dirt, and blood. Zalira lay beside him, breathless. That was close. He looked at her. Too close, she smiled weakly. Still glad you saved me back then. He nodded. Best decision I ever made. She rested her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. And for the first time since the jungle began to burn around them, she felt safe. The dropship soared above the jungle, leaving fire and smoke behind. Inside, the air was tense but quiet. Cole sat on the bench, his hand wrapped in Zalira's. Both were bruised, scraped, and exhausted, but neither looked away from the other. A human pilot peeked through the cockpit. Door. Destination's 2 hours out. Medical bays ready. Cole nodded. Thanks. Zalira's head rested on his shoulder. Her glowing skin shimmered softly in the dim cabin light. Her fingers traced lazy lines on his arm, not speaking, just feeling. Her body was calm now, but her mind was loud. What happens next? She finally asked. Cole turned his head. We land. You heal. Then we decide. Decide what? Where to go? Zalira looked down. I can't go back to my tribe. They'll see what I've become. They'll feel it. What do you mean, my skin, my scent, my bond to you? They'll know. He touched her cheek. Is that a problem? It depends. Some will say I'm tainted. Others will say I've awakened. They believe bonds like this are rare, sacred. Cole's brow furrowed. And you, what do you believe? She smiled. I believe I don't want to be anywhere you're not. He kissed her forehead gently. Then we'll figure it out. When the ship landed on a hidden human outpost, a small medical team rushed in. They checked Cole's ribs, treated Zalira's bruises, and handed them both fresh uniforms. Cole's was simple gray. Zalira's was a fitted deep blue tunic made for alien physiology, but she kept looking at him. As she changed, making sure he saw. After cleaning up, they met outside under a quiet metal canopy. The stars were beginning to shine above, and the jungle was far behind them. Cole leaned against the railing, arms crossed. You look different. Zalira smirked. Better or worse? Dangerously better. She stepped closer, standing between his legs. You're the reason. My body adapted to you. My instincts chose you. His hands rested on her hips. I've never been chosen before. You are now. And forever. He pulled her into a soft, warm kiss. This one wasn't rushed, wasn't desperate. It was deep, steady, full of silent promises. When they broke apart, she whispered, my people say when a bond is complete, the female marks her male in her own way. His eyebrow rose. Marks how? She leaned in close, her lips brushing his ear. You'll find out tonight. Later, in a private room lit with soft lights, she showed him. No words were needed. Her body moved like fire, slow and wild. She explored every scar on his skin, kissed every place where pain once lived. Cole held her like she was the first thing he ever wanted to protect, and the last thing he ever wanted to lose. Their bodies moved together, wrapped in heat, breath, and soft gasps. It wasn't just passion, it was instinct, soul deep, ancient. Her skin glowed brighter with every heartbeat, and his hands trembled as he held her closer. Not from fear, but from something more powerful than war. By the end, he lay with her, curled against his chest, their legs tangled, their breaths matching like rhythm and song. You've ruined me, he whispered. Good, she whispered back, because I'm yours. Days passed. Together, they explored the outpost, trained with soldiers, and laughed like the world wasn't always trying to kill them. But their bond only grew stronger. Wherever Cole went, Zalira followed. And whenever Zalira entered a room, Cole's eyes followed her with hunger and awe. The commander of the outpost pulled Cole aside one day. "We could use you again. Out there, you're a damn good soldier." Cole looked across the room where Zalira was showing another alien how to use a human scanner. Her silver hair glowed in the sunlight. Her laugh made him forget how many wars he'd fought. "I already have my mission," he said. The commander frowned. "She's worth that." Cole smiled. "She's worth everything." That night, Zalira led him out under the stars. She wore a black cloak that shimmered with starlight and nothing underneath. She pulled him close and whispered, "Do you feel it now?" He nodded. "I feel you in my blood." "I was strangled once," she said. "Helpless, scared. I thought that would be the end of me. But it wasn't." "No," she said, lifting his hand to her lips. "Because your snake was stronger." He blinked, then laughed out loud. "That's what this was about." She grinned. "You saved me. Now." I squeezed back. Their lips met again under the stars, this time as something new. Two souls who had bled, survived, burned, and healed in each other's arms. A human soldier, an alien warrior, and a bond that no jungle, no army, and no galaxy could ever break.